the meeting to order. It's at 6:05. Okay, we won't work on the public hearing until 6:15 when, all right. So, if we call the meeting order, and I'm looking for the group to, motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Any corrections or anything? All right. Can I get a second then? All right.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, one, or who wasn't here last week?
Oh, one abstention.
One abstention, yeah, sorry about that. Because you weren't here.
Oh, I can't say aye.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's okay, don't worry.
Well, in some situations they say
I
yes.
know,
Heaven forbid.
I know.
I'll learn one of these days.
Well, I'm still learning too, so.
I'll have to skip a few more meetings and then you can remind me what to do next.
We don't want to do that. Okay, the next item on the agenda is correspondence and bills. We received another bill, an invoice from Sandy Pond School Association for the work that's being done on the conditions assessment. And this invoice from Spencer and Voigt Group is for $4,039 even. And that
What does it encompass?
encompasses additional work for the conditions assessment for build of $2,800, outline specifications of $1,095, and treatment recommendations for $144. So that's what it all includes. So out of the monies, the $20,000 that we've approved for them, they now, with this $4,039, have spent $9,034.50.
Just to tell us what's wrong?
Well, we have the $20,000 to go ahead and tell us for the conditions assessment. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're in the wrong business.
Yeah.
I would have told you what to do with it for less than that.
So,
So
and that includes the David E. Ross?
no. Oh yeah, that includes David E. Ross as well.
Okay.
The 9,000 I got set. Okay. So can I get someone to make a motion to accept this invoice so we can get it signed and
I
paid?
make a motion to accept the invoice.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So let's go ahead and sign it and make sure I make a copy. Sounds great. Thank you. Now, the other correspondence that we received is I received an email from Brian Colleran from the Conservation Commission Conservation Office. And he was in touch with a woman, Marianne Bowler, who was looking for ideas of things to do with some property that she owns. Part of it is conservation land, from what I believe. So with that, I gave her a call. As I told Brian, I'd give her a call, and I asked her if she would mind if I asked Beth to give her a call, because Beth is more familiar with different land trusts and things that you can do and such. So that's the other communications that we had. So. Have you been able to?
I haven't reached out.
Okay.
It slipped my mind until you just mentioned it now.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I
I told her,
I will follow up. Yeah.
yeah.
Could I get copies of that?
Yeah.
It's important.
The address.
3rd Street, number 21. She has, like I say, the house, the property, and with that, like I say, part of it's also on the conservation land, and it's got to do with the map that Brian's been working on. So, but I worked out, well, yeah, when you retire, you want to go ahead and make sure things are all in order. So pretty much that was the correspondence that I have. Anybody else had any other type of correspondence? No? Okay. Well, we're still 5 minutes early.
I can ask one thing.
Please.
Have you heard anything from Mark Wetzel about the dog park?
No, I have not. Oh, there is another correspondence now that you mentioned. No, I haven't heard anything since the meeting that.
Okay, because he appeared before the Conservation Commission last week with the notice of intent for the dog park, and at the very end he said, yeah, and they're hoping to have it done by fall, and they'd be needing to for the grant they have. I think the town has to contribute 20%. So he was thinking that would be from CPC money. And I'm like, have you contacted CPC yet? So he hasn't. So
Is that down off Snake Road?
yeah, between the railroad tracks and Fox Run Drive.
How many acres is it? I haven't seen anything of it.
You have
Something like 43,000 square feet in the parcel.
Oh, so just an acre.
Yeah. So this is the parcel that was initially intended to be the soccer field.
Soccer field.
Yeah. Well, if you want me to, I mean, I was going to ping him anyways because he was going to try to get some a ballpark figure with regards to the upcoming perimeter path. You know, the embankment there.
Right.
All right. So since I was going to do that, I can sort of, say, is there any other questions you got for us, or,
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll go ahead and do that. One other correspondence came from town administrator with regards to the possibility of CPC funds being used for another Veterans Memorial stone out here in the little pocket park. I checked with the coalition, and seeing that it is a type of park like this, CPC funds can be used for it. So,
This is out here?
not here.
Oh, out
Right here. Yeah.
Room on the granite.
Yeah, they're going to have to shift the granite stones so that they can have another one. Which is sort of sad to hear, but so I was going to talk with Robert, but he had left for the night. So I had sent him, the response back in an email, but I was just going to touch base on that. So those were the two, or the other correspondences that we had. Any other questions? Okay, like I say, we just have to hold off until 6:15. I can't start it any earlier. I know.
Well, nothing to report from the planning board.
Okay. Go ahead.
I said nothing to report.
Oh, nothing. Oh, okay.
Get
I
that
thought I
committee
can.
report out of the way.
Hey, what's happening on you guys in the zoning bylaw?
It's an ongoing thing. What's her name? The lady that's helping us.
Sandy Bean?
Yeah. I can't think of her name.
Not the one from the
It's
master plan,
ongoing.
is it?
We're hoping to get it for fall town meeting.
Is it the woman who helped to develop the packet codification and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember her name, but she's with SKR or something like that now. Is that right?
Yeah. We're halfway through the meeting.
Janet?
Any other committee reports?
We confirmed our dates up for the Hidden Treasures event this year.
Yeah.
And
Can you share them?
yeah,
Can you tell us where they are?
no.
They're hidden.
Yeah, they're hidden. No. I don't know if you noticed on the display board, this display cabinet out here, last 3 years that Hidden Treasures has requested that each town involved, there's like 45 towns in this Freedom's Way area, to present something that people don't normally know about in town. And, the first year, Ayer presented Camp Stevens today, a tour of Camp Stevens grounds and some artifacts for the Civil War. Last year, Ayer did one on James Cook Air, namesake of the town. And this year, Mr. Minoyan, Alan S. Minoyan, our Economic and Community Development Director, is going to host a tour of the downtown area with emphasis on the different periods. Like
Architectural styles and
Yeah.
stuff.
the French Second Empire, Mansard, and the Greek Revival. But that's, he's going to do that for us this year.
Is that going to be in May?
That's going to be in May. Yeah, I've actually, it needs so we can have one of these.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There he is.
Yeah.
Lamp and all.
I know. One is by land, two is by sea.
And I think if anybody's gone on Alan's tours, they're a
Yeah.
lot of fun, he's really informative. And we're pretty happy to have him present that program.
Well, that's great. My congratulations. Okay. Hi.
We're recorded, right?
Pardon?
We are recorded.
We are being recorded,
So
yes.
maybe it helps
Yes,
to say
just
the
a type
date,
note.
actually. So the Freedom's Way Hidden Treasures Tour of Downtown Ayer featuring Alan Minoyan and a program entitled Treasures of Architectural History will be at 1 p.m. on May 13th.
And also that will be on display in the window, and we'll use the town's Facebook page and other media resources to get that out. So we've got a few months to get all that.
Meeting at Town Hall.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yep, you got it. All right, thank
I'm
you.
not sure whether it's going to be here upstairs.
Meeting somewhere in Town Hall.
Watch for the sign.
It's hidden.
Just because we're being
Watch
taped.
watch for the clues.
That's right, because it's hidden. Yeah. All right then, so with further ado, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and open up for the public hearing. The first public hearing we've got is the Pleasant Street School generator, and I need to read the legal notice. Legal notice, Town Air Community Preservation Committee, notice of public hearing regarding Pleasant Street School generator. Notice is hereby given in accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 44B, the Community Preservation. Community Preservation. The Air Community Preservation Committee will hold a public hearing at Town Hall, the first floor meeting room, at 1 Main Street in Ayer, Massachusetts, on Wednesday, March 1st, 2017 at 6:15 p.m. The purpose of this meeting will be to review the application from the Ayer Elderly Housing Partnership through the Ayer Housing Authority for CPA funds to support the purchase of an emergency generator to preserve the historic Pleasant Street School building. All residents, members, general public, and any persons desiring to listen to the discussion or be heard on the matter of community preservation may appear at the time and place indicated. Community Preservation Committee, Janet Providakis, Chair. Ms. Van in the Neshoba Voice on February 17th and February 24th. All right, so I'd like to say, open up that and let Ken Martin, and if you'd like to make the presentation, this is what he will be presenting.
Has this changed from the one we got before?
Oh, pardon me. I'm missing. Okay, I don't believe it has. Ken, you can let us know. Go ahead. Come on up.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to the committee for putting this on the agenda to have a public hearing, to hear from the residents and people who are interested in our proposal, which is to have a emergency generator for the Pleasant Street School. The application that you have that was submitted a month ago, hopefully you have an opportunity to review it. Basically, we have 21 affordable senior apartments in the Pleasant Street School. It's a building that sat nearly vacant for close to 20 years, and through multiple funding sources, we were able to create supportive senior housing, affordable, that meets the needs of the community, and the residents that are here will be glad to attest to the beautiful resources that the town has provided, because the town gave us the building, community preservation, through this committee via the town meeting, provided construction funding to assist us, because there was a shortfall in funding, there were 5 funding sources, and we have a beautiful facility. Now we've had a situation where this 4-story building, from time to time when power is lost and during emergency situations, it is a safety risk for the residents that are on the higher floors, because they have to be relocated to a fire department, which creates a hardship for the fire department as a safety issue for the residents, as well as the building. If the building should remain without power during the winter for long periods of time, we could have pipes that freeze, and we spent over close to $5 million in that renovation of that building. And it would be our request that we fund a generator for the safety of the residents and for also to preserve the building. This historic building that we're all proud of. It's a beautiful building. It has a beautiful park next to it that was funded through CPC. This has really been a community effort. It's been a team effort by the town and the residents. And we just would hope that you would support this endeavor to give the townspeople the opportunity to vote. So I'll be glad to ask and answer any questions. If you have any questions relative to the residents, if they'd like some comments.
Okay. For the record, the funding request is for the generator of the cost is $120,000, and it's going to be a gas, just like they have here for the town hall, pretty much.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It is, you do have a sketch of where it will be located. It's located where we have some other mechanical. It will not be an eyesore because it will be some ground covering, some trees that will cover it. It is also in that location because that's where the natural gas line is, so it's in close proximity of that. And it is $120,000. It could be a little bit less, but that's based on the architect's estimate, the engineer's estimate, and it's also based on a prior emergency generator that we installed at 18 Pond Street for a 3-story senior building.
Okay. All right. Does any members of the board have any additional questions? I know that, did you get a letter from Historic?
I have not received a copy. I know that I did meet with the Historic Commission, and they were going to send a letter.
Okay.
They said it would be forwarded to you people, so I have not seen it.
I don't know if they probably put in maybe mailbox for Historic.
Ruth is here. She
Very
was
good. I saw email from Cliff that was sent to someone about it.
All right. Okay. Because I just want to make sure it gets put inside the packet. That's all.
I'll take a look when I go home.
I did meet with the Historic Commission, and we discussed it. Ruth was there. I know George was going to send something. They voted unanimously to support the project.
Okay.
I'm not speaking for them. It's just...
Okay.
I remember seeing something from George, so like I said, I'll forward that to Janet.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And I might have missed it too. Okay, so it could have been that. All right.
I think it's worth mentioning, just clarifying that while the safety and benefits to the residents themselves for these emergency instances is a worthy cause, it's not a cause for which CPA funds would be allocated and could be allocated. So the preservation of the historic building is the category for which CPA funds are eligible, and that
CPA or CBC?
Well, CPA funds.
Okay.
So there's, yeah.
Yeah. So just to make that clarifying point, so it's certainly a worthy project from the perspective of protecting and preserving a historic resource in town, and one that has already utilized CPA funds for renovations and for housing purposes. But the category for which it's eligible that we're debating tonight or discussing tonight is regarding the historic preservation.
Okay, so pretty much with the application and the warrant, it it would be coming out of the historic category instead of splitting it between the two. Is that what, the two meaning historic and community housing?
Well, so there is the community housing. But
Sort of like what we do with Fletcher Street,
yeah.
you know?
Okay.
So that's what I'm thinking, of, if we split
Okay.
it, or, we can talk, we can talk
Okay,
about it afterwards.
I'm sorry, I was thinking that at our last meeting we discussed and thought that the historic was the.
The historic is, that's the whole thing, and, but no matter what, it's got a twofold purpose. Never mind about just the historic building, but I know that a lot of individuals here from Pleasant Street, experienced the storm several years ago, where, I'll let you guys say it, and, tell me, you guys want to talk a little bit about
It was only
the
sister
building?
and I who were living there at the time, wasn't it? You were there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We had to evacuate the building. We had no heat, no lights, no power, no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
The hallway lights only stayed lit for like 15, 20 minutes.
About 15, 20 minutes, yeah, that's why I wanted to
Then
make
you're
sure
in
Kat heard
darkness.
that. Yeah, and I know that, one of the letters that we received from the fire department is like, this is, definitely something that would be beneficial, so that if someone's on the fourth floor, exactly, at least, like I say, it's the stairs, but if there's somebody, who needs a stretcher or something, that's even more dangerous and such. So like I say, it's a twofold. When I say twofold, it's like if we take care of the historic preservation, it's also going to have a benefit, so that the residents themselves, will be safe. Go ahead.
I wasn't living there at the time of the storm, but I came home one day and there was the elevator needed to be seen by the company, and I didn't know it was going to be shut down. That's just an example of what it would be like with my walker going up the stairs, and each floor has, I think, 3 levels of stairs, and that's a lot to consider when
You've got a walker. Oh yeah,
a walker.
But
And
this is
other people might even need a wheelchair from
Yeah.
time to time.
right, and this can, you can correct me, but it's going to be like if there's a total power outage. If the elevator's out, that's not going to kick in. It's just when there's
The generator will service the elevator.
oh, but but not if the elevator itself is only out.
Oh, right.
Okay,
Yeah.
if they're working on the elevator, it's not
Oh,
going to
no.
take in.
Right.
It's when there's a total power
All the
outage.
power, yeah.
Right.
And it will service the elevator?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought they'd have to have a big generator for that.
The generator is proposed, it would also include heat, which is a necessity, would also include the elevator, which is also a necessity,
Lighting.
lighting in the hallways and the stairways.
Right. Hallways and
Because like you
stairways.
mentioned, the building was in darkness, you're trying to walk downstairs with a little flashlight, because after 15 or 20 minutes, the emergency power, which is a battery backup, would go out. So the generator would address those issues.
Will it fully service the building or limited power?
Limited power, because it wouldn't, all the circuits in the.
The necessary
would not-
items.
Yeah,
So it wouldn't service every apartment, but at least it would do the hallways?
it would do all the hallways, it would do all of the key functions like heat,
Heat.
hot water,
Light.
the elevator, the community room where people could gather if they needed to gather.
But you wouldn't have lights in your apartment?
We will not have circuit breakers in there, unless the budget will allow one circuit in each unit. And we won't know that until we actually go out to bid.
Okay. All right.
I'm in favor of it.
Okay, and I think, like Beth is mentioning, it doesn't really, it's more for, like I say, the funding source itself, of putting it underneath historic, so that we know that the building itself is preserved, which will go ahead and, like I say, end up being a twofold. Is that, okay? Because that's how I have the warrant written,
And not community housing.
and not community housing. Okay? I'd say in favor, go get,
Do you need a motion?
motion?
Motion to approve, or actually, are we approving it, or are we just?
Advancing to
Advancing.
town, yeah,
Okay.
advancing to town meeting, okay, underneath historic preservation
Yes.
for the 120? 1,000. Mm-hmm. Can I get a second? Okay, all in favor? Aye. All right, so it's gonna go to town meeting, so show up to town meeting.
Oh, we will.
We'll all be here. They're here.
Thank you very much for your support, we appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, yeah.
All right.
Motion to close the public hearing?
Yeah, motion to close the public, can I get a motion?
Motion to close the public hearing.
Okay, second?
Seconded.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you.
Aye.
Hi. Thank you. I'm so glad that I, Jesse, thank you.
The blessing, I'll show you.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Bye, bye, we'll see ya.
All right.
Things when I get the minutes.
Sister Paula? Sister Paula?
Yeah,
You're, how do you spell your last name?
capital MC, capital CREA.
Okay.
It's Scottish, please.
Okay.
Scottish.
Thank you. Thank you. You got that for if you wanted to NCCREA. It's the way she brought up, you know, the darkness in the hallway.
Not the blessing.
Okay, yes,
Yes,
we're being
sorry.
recorded. Yeah. Oh, that's all right. Yeah. Uh-huh. So we're
Perfect
being,
timing for having our next public hearing again.
Yes.
oh, we're in trouble. We got even Brian here too.
Officer Gill.
It's a rowdy crowd, Brian, but I don't think we need it.
Well, you know what?
Stay calm.
Yeah, the next public hearing's at 6:35. We've got a few more minutes, so hopefully we can.
6:30.
No,
Is
it's
it
6:30.
6:30?
We're late.
No, it's at 6:35.
Not in your agenda.
What's 45?
I said 6:35
Oh, in the paper, you
in
mean?
the paper.
So,
Oh, I goofed. It's 6:35 on the warrant, the notice itself. So,
Brian, can you move the
so
clock?
Conservation Commission, just saw the thing on the dog park. That's my committee report.
oh, okay.
And the bylaw, how about?
And we're still taking public input on the bylaw. Had a couple public hearings. We're gonna have one more. Still have a lot of ground to cover, so we'll see if we're ready for spring instead of fall. To be determined.
Okay.
Thank you. What else did we do?
Housing. What?
Thank you. She's my little memory. So we did award, pick a vendor to award the weed treatment on the ponds to Solitude, which used to be Aquatic Control Technology, and Lycott Environmental. They merged. So that will be taking place this spring. I think their optimal times for starting would be late April, early May. And we have all our funding in line ahead of time, so we can get on their schedule at the earliest.
Is that just for diagnosis, or is that for
Oh, no,
actual treatment?
this is treatments
Oh, good.
on Sandy Pond, Flanagan, and Pine Meadow ponds. And we will be sure to use that remaining $15,000 in the CPC line item for the Flanagan Pond portion,
Okay.
which we were quite thrilled to.
To find out about.
Yeah.
Okay. It's
It will
good.
be used.
Lisa will be
And
happy
we
that
do
you can close
hope-
out an account.
We do hope everybody supports us at Springtown meeting, when I believe we will be having a line item starting on the omnibus budget yearly to put money into a fund for that, because you know, the cost of weed treatments will vary from year to year, depending on if you have to do a big treatment versus a spot treatment. And if we can roll over and accumulate funds, then it prevents us having to ask for a huge amount one year. We can just sort of build up and do continual maintenance, which overall, long-term, would be far cheaper for the town than continually getting into a, oh my God, we're in trouble days. So hopefully people will be there in support.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Only thing for housing update is that we went ahead and now can get training for being board members. You're welcome. For board members over online. So we're going to be starting that soon. This is a letter of recommendation for that packet. I didn't get attached. I need to get a copy to, what's that? And everybody's got one? And Jeff? All right.
I thought I did an admirable job using up 3 minutes.
We're doing
Effectively.
good.
Effectively.
Okay.
Beth and I had it worked out, so we would stretch it. I would pause, and then she'd go,
All right then. So now that it's 6:35, I'd like to open up for the next, open up the public hearing, number 2 for the Peroni Park perimeter path. I need to go ahead and read the legal notice. So it's the legal notice of Town of Ayer Community Preservation Committee, notice of public hearing regarding Peroni Park perimeter path. Notice is hereby given in accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 44B, the Community Preservation Act, that the Ayer Community Preservation Committee will hold a public hearing at the Town Hall, first floor meeting room, at 1 Main Street, Ayer, Massachusetts, on Wednesday, March 1st, 2017, at 6:35 p.m. The purpose of this meeting will be to review the application from the Ayer Parks and Recreations Department for the CPA funds to support the creation of an ADA-compliant perimeter path around the portions of Peroni Park. All residents, members of the general public, and any person or persons desiring to listen to discussions or be heard on the matter of community preservation may appear at the time and place indicated. Community Preservation Committee, Janet Providakis, Chairman. This ran in the Neshoba Voice on February 17th and 24th, and as I showed everybody else, I got proof right there. All right, so I'd like to open it up and have Jeff and Jason, if you want to come forward and go over the completed application that you do have. Got the chair. Thank you very much.
Everyone has a copy, I assume?
Yes, the one that you had in.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And then also try to grab your email too, and I sent it to everybody.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Would you like us to make a presentation, or how would you like us to go about
Go
it?
ahead. You don't have to do the video at all or anything like that. It can be just.
Okay, because, yeah, we got stuff up there, but if everyone has the packets, that's probably a lot easier.
And we already had a discussion.
Right, we already had the discussion, so it can be
Yeah,
the-
yeah, we'll keep it, unless, obviously we'll answer
an
any
hour or
questions.
2 will be sufficient.
What is this, Conservation Commission? Come on.
That'll be 4 hours.
I didn't attend our last Parks meeting.
Yeah, 30 minutes.
Normally it's like 2 hours. Without me, it's 30 minutes. So we'll let it talk.
Great.
So
Want to let him talk then?
Yeah, really.
you might want to.
Yeah.
The perimeter path project, as we've discussed before, is something that we've had in mind as the Park Department for quite some time, several decades even. This goes back to the, I believe, 1998 master plan and open space and recreation plans that were in effect then. There was a survey done in 2007 to kind of verify what parcels could be used to create the path and verify that we could extend toward our neighbors' places. So this has been in the works for some time. The project that we're looking to do currently would cost, what we're expecting to be $87,000. That would include 2 parts to it. One is for the actual construction of the path, and for all sections except for, and if you can look at the map, there is kind of a hook shape, yes, a hook shape. And at the end of the hook, there is no connection to the other pointed part. This runs along the bottom of the hill of the Housing Authority. That section will be very difficult, comparably speaking, to the rest of the path to construct due to a variety of reasons. So we're going to really need to get some planning and development just for that section, work with the Housing Authority, whose property it is currently on, to make all that happen. So the money that we're looking for for the project for construction is $72,000 for everything in red. The other $15,000, which we're going to be asking for from town meeting, and we've talked to the capital planning committee for that, is for the actual planning and development of the path, including that section of the hill. So what we're hoping to do is get that plan done and an idea of what the cost will be, and then work with the housing authority to make that happen. So I know that's a little confusing on how that's coming together, but we just want to make sure everyone understood how that was set up to go and why we're asking for two different amounts from two different entities. And there's a timeline listed along there, what we're looking to do with that. The path itself, we think, will be a huge benefit for the community for a lot of reasons. It's going to be a way to get access for both handicapped individuals and strollers, any type of thing like that, to be able to get to these sections of the park that generally can't be reached without a great amount of difficulty. As you can see, or anyone who's been to the Pony Park with any of the activities down there can attest, some of these areas are very difficult to go to. A great example of that is this hooked area down here, where a lot of people have soccer events and things like that that are in this section of the field, and they just can't get there. So it's a nice opportunity for us to open up the park more and make it more accessible to everybody.
Right. And we've also done a lot of clearing along the water, right where the elbow is, and had a couple Boy Scout, Eagle Scout projects down there to create some picnic areas and everything down there that they'll be able to reach a lot easier with a paved path along there. So.
How are you going to handle the grading for wheelchairs and strollers? How is that?
For the most part, if you're familiar with Peroni Park, the section, if you were to divide like right across here, there's two levels. There's an upper level and a lower level.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen is this is going to all be the same level anyway. This is going to grade down from this section here toward an even way that again, we're going to have to, that's part of the planning and development for it.
It's probably not going to be as sharp as these angles are. We'll have to go down the grade a little bit more, but
yeah, the gradient from this point all the way down to here is actually a relatively clean one. And same with going up from just past the softball field, coming up along a hillside here. It's about 250 feet where you can go, you have to elevate about 10 feet. So just speaking with the town engineer and Mark Wetzel, we're pretty confident that's something we're going to be able to achieve without having to do a turnaround, which is, that'd be asking a lot to put that into the project as well. So we expect to be able to have a clean grade for both here and here to get to the lower and upper parts. It's a very good question, though. It's, it was one of those that was really tripping us up, and we're trying to figure out the best way to do it.
When you say turnaround, you mean like you would have to do a switchback or something?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So that doesn't appear to be required.
It doesn't appear to be.
Okay.
This is 5 feet wide?
right.
5 feet
Is
was,
it going to be plowed?
we haven't discussed whether we would plow it or not.
We'll put it
For my
capital
understanding,
a little sidewalk plow.
from my understanding, those who do have paths like that, including our path that we have over here for the you were always on,
The bike path?
the rail trail, those don't get plowed in general.
Right.
Well, that's because they use the cross-country skiing. And just was wondering if they were going to use the town's
It hadn't come up yet, to be honest.
Okay. Any other questions? Any other questions from the gallery?
So
Go ahead.
the only question I have, just under the scenario that the capital request wouldn't pass, you wouldn't be able to use the CPA funds for construction. Is that true? Because would you want to maybe rework
We would
that
have
so
to.
that-
We would have to find an alternative funding source for that.
just for the 15, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Conversely, if it was the other way around, we'd have to do
Yeah.
the other
What
way.
we'd probably end up doing is reworking it and excluding the engineering of this section here,
Which is the
and
most
just taking care of the the engineering of the part that we want to build.
Did you explore the possibility of how much engineering can be done in-house with the town engineer?
We have, and we've been in discussions with both Dan and Mark on this for over a year now, almost 2 years, and we've gotten as much as they feel that they can do with this without having, especially this section, That's the one it's the predominant part of that funding, because that's going to be extensive, trying to figure out a good solution for that, and several solutions, hopefully, because there's no right answer. Anyone who's familiar with this understands how difficult this is going to be to make this work in everyone's best interest.
So do you have an estimate of the project development design cost for the area shown in red?
Not
Apart from
specifically
the-
for that, just in general, in speaking with Dan, asking him for his advice on that. That's what he thought would be the best price to go with, based on his expert analysis.
Anything else? All right. Can I hear a motion?
Just
Pardon?
one
Go
further
ahead.
comment, I guess.
Go ahead.
The Open Space and Recreation Plan Committee has not met since this has been discussed, but it has been a priority that has been discussed at meetings and is recognized in the draft plan. So, as Jeff said, this is something that has been a priority for the town, I think, for quite a while. And
Right.
I'm
Since
really
1998.
excited. Yeah, really excited to see that it is advanced to this point, and that we have the opportunity to, make a really great path that I think will really get a lot of use at Frony Park.
This really would come under community housing, right? We got the community housing checked off.
Oh, yeah, no.
The only reason it's under community housing was because it is adjacent to and in support of residents of community housing. That was the only reason that was checked off.
Right, but when it comes out of the category that the funding will be coming out of,
Right.
it's going to be coming out of the,
General.
yeah, I'm going to say the general, because recreation comes out of general.
I don't think it's a
It-
qualified open space
Yeah.
category either, so it's a recreation category, which means the funding comes from the general source, because there's not a recreational bin in the budget.
We do have it on our application though, so it says recreation, so.
Oh, yeah, it's a recreational category.
Right.
But the funding
Comes out of.
technically will have to indicate that it's from the general fund.
From the general fund, okay. All right, so we're going to take out where it's got the community housing.
Yeah.
um,
In open space.
And open
And
space.
open space, and have it come out of recreation, which would be the general funding, just paperwork.
I understand.
For Lisa. All right. Okay, can I hear a motion to move it to town meeting?
Motion to move 72,000 from CPA funding to town meeting for the walkway around Gormley Park.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, nobody against? All right, it's
Great.
going to town meeting.
Thank you very much.
Better show up. I'll take that back, you'll be there anyways.
We
we've got a
really,
few
we really
things.
appreciate
Okay.
everyone's support on
Yeah,
this.
thank you
All right,
very
thank you.
much.
All right,
Thank you.
Yeah, can I get a motion to adjourn the public hearing?
Motion to adjourn,
To end the public, just the public hearing. Just the public hearing.
just the
Yeah.
public hearing.
Right, okay, second.
I thought I could slip that one.
Yeah, all in favor, aye? Okay, that sounds great, thank you very much. Okay, this works out great. Okay. My little piece of paper, there it is. Okay, so this worked out good. Thank you for you guys for help clarify the categories and such that, let's say it helps out. All right, so moving on, we're almost close to 6:45 for warrants for Springtown meeting.
Longer.
We got to make sure it goes quick.
Well, those are in
That's,
the
and
public
then it
hearings.
can be untimed for
Yeah.
that, so you can't.
Oh, yeah, I know
Yeah.
that. But I do have them generated, the warrants. Seeing that we really don't need them until, I forget what the date was. I said it last meeting. They need to be done in April. I can send them to everybody, or we can have a short discussion now about it. And then the other thing too is, what needs to be done by Friday is the town annual report. Right, so I have that generated as well. Pretty much it's just like last year's. Except what I did is I
Spelled my name right.
spelled your name right, got that, I'll have you look at it too. Have everybody just, review it, just be. I updated for the projects that got completed in 2016, which was the conditions assessment request from Sandy Pond School Association, as they review the restoration needs of this historic treasure. And then future prospective projects is that the CPC will be supporting the funding request from the Ayer Housing Authority for an emergency generator at the historical Pleasant Street School, and the ADA compliant perimeter path at Peroni Park requested by the Ayer Parks and Recreation Commission. Now, this is the other thing too, I forgot to ask Jeff. Richard, is it Ayer Parks and Recreation Commission? Is it Ayer Parks Department? Is it Ayer's Park and Recreation Department? I mean, one's volunteer while the other one is a town department.
Air Park Department. Parks.
Parks Department. Because that's what it would be coming under. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that when I develop it right. So, if you guys want to, I can make copies of it, or like I say, I can send it. But it needs
Save
to
the
be
trees.
Okay, that's what I
Send
thought.
it.
Send it.
Yeah, I'll send it to later on tonight. And with regards to the warrants, okay. Jess, you ready for the numbers?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Our 2018 surcharge from the assessor's office, Tom Hogan, is $190,000, $945, $190,945, right? These big numbers, I wish I had that in a checking account.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Okay, the state match, which was estimated by Lisa, is $35,000. So the total 2018 estimated community preservation funds is $225,945.
So it's a total estimate.
That's the total, yeah, it's always a total estimate. And that's what we have to go by. And what ends up happening is after we take out, I'm gonna say the 10% or whatever, we're gonna go ahead and do, whatever's left over is what goes into open space. So if we look at past distributions, we've taken out of that, right now it'd be $225,945. We take $5,000 of that out for administrative. We need to take out at least 10% for historic, so that's $22,595. Same for community housing, $22,595. And this is where we have also another warrant of $12,000 for due diligence, for just in case there's anything else that comes up for open space. We were able to use that to help out the open space and recreation.
Quick action.
Okay. It's for quick, yeah. So that would leave a total that goes into the open space category of $163,756. Then the other warrant, okay, this is outside of that numbers. Those are the numbers
So
that,
do you have that in just one warrant article?
yeah, that's all in one warrant article. Well, two, take that back, two.
Two articles.
Two articles, because the due diligence ends up going in a separate article.
Right.
Okay, but it has to come out of the estimated funds. Doesn't have to, but that's what we've been doing. Okay, so now what we're gonna be doing is putting in a warrant for the Pleasant Street School generator for $120,000, and that will be coming out of the historic category. And then the perimeter path at Peroni Park would be coming out of the general fund category. And that's for $72,000.
How much will this leave us then in the historic category after?
And general.
General. As of January 9th, 2017, Historic had 154,521. Okay, so if you add in 22, so it'd be approximately $177,000 that's going to be in historic. So if we remove the 120, that dropped down to $57,000. So what we could do, like I say, it has to be 10%. So what we could do is instead of saying 10%, we could put in 20% into historic with the distribution rates.
What's the balance for general?
General itself, which is the undesignated balance. Like I say, that's where recreation will come out of. Right now, it's $264,926.58. I forgot 32 cents.
And that's without the distribution.
And that's without the distribution, right? If we add that.
Well, there wouldn't be a distribution for general if we would do as you had
Well,
said. But I think I would like to propose putting more in general so that it could be used in any category and including recreation, rather than necessarily just designating historic to go above 10. But I would suggest putting more, taking more out of open space than what we have been doing. So I don't know, I haven't necessarily decided on an exact percentage, but that, you know, like if we would put, so what do we've got, 10, 20, 30%, that leaves whatever is remaining of like about 70%. So if we would do 35 open space, 35 general, just at 35% open space, 35% general as a recommendation. And I know because you're taking the 12,000 out and all of that, the numbers aren't all clear cut. But what I'm saying is the $163,756, that if we would divide that in two, put half of it in open space and put half of it in general.
So even though,
Oh, I see what you're saying, okay.
even though historic's gonna be going down to about $50,000, if we needed it, we could
Use
transfer
general.
it.
You can use it
Yeah.
as a general.
Correct.
That's fine with me.
Thanks, thanks, someone.
Yeah, in a second. See, the bad thing is, prior, like 2012, we had things come out of general that should have been other places, like the pocket park and flooded building and such. I just want to make sure. Okay, so what's going to end up happening is, out of that, I just have to do it in my head.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Out of the 163,000 that's left over after taking out the 10% and 10% in administrative and the due diligence, we're going to split that amount, which is really 70% approximately. That 35% would go to the leftover, but 35% definitely would go to the undesignated fund.
And you mean by that the general?
The general,
fund?
yeah. That's the category it's called. So I don't. I'll I'm gonna probably word it, so that, see, right now, the way that the wording goes, it's 163,756 for acquisition, creation, and preservation of open space, excluding land for recreational use. So we gotta figure out how that gets worded so that it goes.
So you would just, whatever this divided in half is, then put that with the line you just said, and then another one with that amount again for
Undesignated fund balance.
Mr. Diskin.
I know Mr. Diskin, I'm trying to think of your first name, but I couldn't think of it. Betsy's husband.
I'm very interested in the open space category. Are you discussing the fact that you're reducing the funds available for open space? No.
No. Well, let me see, because again, no, we're not going to reduce it. We still have a balance in there, for sure. What ends up happening is every year with the tax surcharge, we get a matching from the state. That's the amount that we've been discussing. That is the $225,945. That's the amount that for the fiscal year 2018 that we should be getting from the town as well as the state, those two together. That then gets distributed within the categories of historic, of community housing, and open space. Usually open space gets the bulk left over. So what we want to do is, since the general is being depleted, and again, some of it was because we didn't put it in the right categories back in 2011, we want to go ahead and put additional funds inside there so that we have it for other things of recreation and such. Is that?
I'd also like to just add.
Please.
So I'm on the Open Space and Recreation.
What is your name?
I'm Beth Stidmeyer. Yeah, and so I'm on that committee and have been working to try and facilitate acquisition of open space in town for a number of years now.
Good.
And I'm very glad to meet you and glad to hear that you're supportive of it, and I'd be happy to get your information. But I think we've really just been having a hard time acquiring land for a number of reasons, and we have been saving quite a bit of money. As Janet indicated, that about 70% of our funds have been going towards the open space category, while the projects that we've been funding are coming from other categories. And so I just thought this year to take an opportunity to refund the general fund, which we can also, if we would have a large open space acquisition project that would move forward, we can still use that money for open space. But in the event that we don't have an open space project, then if there's other projects that we're interested in funding, we have funds available to also support them.
Does your committee automatically review land that's coming out of Chapter 61 for rights of first refusal and first offer?
Yeah. So we also have a separate separate working group that was formed last year to look specifically at the lands coming out of Chapter 61.
And if somebody comes forward, and saying we've got this land that we'd like the town to go ahead and purchase, we do entertain that. But some land fell through the cracks because.
Some land fell through the cracks?
Well, because of town council legal ramifications.
Are you saying you might not have been notified properly?
Correct.
Oh, no.
Under Chapter 61, proper notification.
Oh, we were. Oh no. I'm sorry. I didn't. Yeah. The town was notified, and by the time like I say, it's a 30-day, right?
120 days.
120 days, and like I say, 120 days went by quickly.
Yeah. And there was one property that we actually made a bid on. It took a while to clear up some legal questions. By the time we made a bid, I think another buyer who could spend a lot more came forward, so we lost that property. So, but that will happen. So, and I think we're prohibited as a municipality, aren't we, from paying more than an assessed price?
An appraised.
Appraised
price,
price.
yeah. So we,
You'd love to pay me assessed.
Right, yeah.
yeah, and the open space due diligence fund that we establish annually is available for, it's sort of a deposit that's made or not a deposit, but a category that's made so that if we do have the opportunity to act on doing an appraisal and doing a phase 1 environmental assessment of a property, to know if we would want to enter into a negotiation with the property owner and establish purchase and sale, so that then we could wait to get to town meeting to actually have on the docket the consideration for funding the acquisition. So we have this interim money that we can use to do the due diligence to advance towards the acquisition.
You can't do the acquisition without authorization from town meeting. Won't that always be an obstacle, the 120 days?
It is always an obstacle, and this is it's something that we had considered with the sort of last round of Chapter 61, and I'm glad that we're talking this through, is that some towns do create conservation funds. So that is something that we could also consider. We on an annual basis don't have a significant amount of money that would be able to create the fund that would allow us to probably do an outright acquisition without going to town meeting, but that is something that we could start to allocate, to have a separate, like that we have the categories for the projects that are being considered. We would also be considering the project proposal for establishment of a conservation fund or contributing money to a conservation fund.
That's what I'd like to see at the town meeting, as an article, is that what she's talking about. The other question I had is, do you ever take the opportunity to assign your rights, the town's rights, to other conservation committees around that are funded, like the trustees and preservation and other things like that? Is that a step that anyone's ever taken?
When we have a Chapter 61 option, we will correspond, have coordination with other land trusts and local potential partners, but they've never taken action on that. So we are currently talking to the North County Land Trust about becoming part of their service area again, because we used to be, but we're not right now. And I think that that would be a great partner for us, because we don't have a land trust in town, to possibly work with them in the event that we do have project opportunities and want to start taking donations and fundraising, and that they could help be the fiscal entity that would have the accounting and the accounts in place to help partner with that.
So my main concern is that you're looking into that kind of stuff, and that when we go to town meeting, we have people who are aware that we are making an effort to go out and conserve land. And I know in the last couple of years, some big pieces have gone away. There's going to be more coming, probably.
Well, one good thing is that, the conservation department is working on a listing, a map of all the Chapter 61 land.
You can get it right off the website.
Yeah, we have that in the
Well,
open space plan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I haven't heard what the update is on a subcommittee group that town administrator was talking about.
Chapter 61 one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't, since we were meeting when we had the opportunity on the Moore parcels, we haven't had a follow-up meeting with them.
So,
Do you know how many parcels off the top of your head, when you say the more parcels went through Chapter 61, without me having to go to the assessor or something?
The ones that we considered last year that were being taken,
Yeah, which ones they were?
Well, it was the Nashua Street Extension, Pleasant Street Extension that were removed from Chapter 61 last year, and I think it was a total of about 5 parcels.
So those came in as a group. You didn't have an option of 1 or 2 or something like that.
Right, two separate notices, because it was 2 separate developments.
and
So parcel 12-1 would have been the end of Pleasant Street or Nashua Street or whatever street it is.
I don't have the maps on hand now, but yeah.
But basically, the Riley Jane.
Riley Jane was the Pleasant Street one.
And that came in two versions, one by CJ and one by Yeah,
Right,
it's
so
One by
two separate
Caulfield,
notifications.
one by Caulfield, and one by Riley
Yeah.
Gang.
Yeah. By the way, somebody from the, now that I remember, somebody from the North County Land Trust addressed conservation the other night as well, briefly, because they're working on they have a grant to do a farmland inventory project, and they wanted Ayer to be part of the 9 towns that they're working with, and that would also identify Chapter 61 as well as prime ag parcels, with the goal, I think, of facilitating farmland use where possible. So that could be like community gardens in a town like Ayer. So we did agree enthusiastically to participate.
That's good. All right, now, I'm just a quick question with regards to, like, say, for this, conservation fund. Is there anything, I mean, should we be talking to Robert with regards to, working with that? I mean,
Right, I mean, it is a good idea, but I'm pretty sure that it would have had to been an application that we would consider have a hearing on.
Oh, understood that, but I mean, again, just because we can't do it for Springtown meeting.
Right.
Doesn't necessarily mean, it can't move forward. But my thing is also, we've got the categories from the CPA laws. How would this fit in? I mean, if we've got open space, I mean, this is something that we're looking at CPA funds to go ahead and fund a conservation fund, or
So you would be drawing from the balance of open space, and it would be a project submitted annually that would fund whatever anticipated acquisition. So I think that that's accurate. I misspoke whenever I was thinking it would just be more like the due diligence, because it would actually be a fund, like a project proposal that you would review with your public hearings annually. And it would just be available for use during that year. If you didn't use it, it still just remains in the open space account. But each year you could say, we're proposing a project that is the conservation fund establishment for this year.
I also thought it could work that if you had a conservation fund, you had money in it, and you could decide to put money in it every year or something, that town meeting is agreeing to put the money into the fund, but then the money could be agreed to be spent by an entity such as us on, say, a purchase, without having to then go back through town meeting to approve that specific purchase. It would be implied consent through funding of the conservation fund. That's how I interpreted it.
yeah.
And we'd have to find out.
We'd have to find out, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So what I can do is,
Groton just had their public hearing last night for their conservation fund, so I can get some details on that.
if you can,
Yeah.
and disperse it and everything. And, we can talk also too with Robert, because that would be it. And Mr. Diskin, I'm sorry, like I said, Betsy's husband. Ken. Thank you. And we can also, tap your ideas.
It seems like you have a conundrum with this.
Well,
You want to buy the open space land, but there's no way to buy it because you can't get it done in the time frame that needs to be done, and you have to go to town meeting and so forth and so on. So, what are those conservation open space funds typically been used for? How have you spent them in the past? Have you bought open space?
We've only had one acquisition.
Really?
And you have to have willing sellers. And
Well, if they come out of 61, they don't have an option. They have to write an offer to you.
right, but then we have to be ready.
You have to be ready. You really need to be ready buyers.
But also to the town, the Board of Selectmen, pretty much will bring it to us as well.
Right.
So it's very complex, but because there's no purchase and sale when the Moores were developing their own land. They give us notice that they're removing it from Chapter 61, not notice that they're selling it. If they're selling it, there's a purchase and sale value. And then the timeline is different for that than if it's a notice of removal. And so it's even shorter.
You sure?
That's what happened, because that's what I'm saying, it wasn't 120 days.
It's a change of use.
Yeah, so it's the appraisal period. So we couldn't even get an appraisal for that removal. And because we had no purchase and sale, there was no valuation on it.
Yeah.
So it was, I mean,
Yeah.
town council didn't let us know whether or not the letter was adequate. We were under the assumption that it was gonna be determined inadequate. All of a sudden, town council said it was adequate, and then we had no time to do an appraisal, so we lost it within 30 days.
But what we've been
You
able.
have to do the appraisal within 30 days.
Yeah.
If there's no purchase and sale agreement that adds a valuation to it.
Lose a 30 days in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what we've now been able to tell Board of Selectmen and Town Administrator is we do have this money for due diligence that we can use for an appraisal.
Right.
You know, it doesn't, that's right, you know, it doesn't have to go to town meeting. You know, it's like this monies are available to go ahead and use for that. So don't say, oh, you know, well, we have to wait, you know, to get the money. It's already there. Turn it around and get the appraisal. And that, again, this is all something that, because of all this is happening, we've got more conversations going on.
I mean, you could be in court for the whole duration of the appraisal. You come up with an appraisal, they disagree with it. You know, it's like the whole thing's going to just vanish just because of the complications of the time frame. I'm not. You have to.
It's
So
specifically
what
outlined.
part of the right of first refusal? There is language in there that says you have to do an appraisal within 30 days. If that's a town requirement.
That's the Chapter 61 regulations, our policy. Yeah. If there's no purchase and sale,
Okay.
I mean, it's different whenever they're removing it versus when they're selling it. It's different, and there's really almost no possible way to make it happen if they're not selling it. And so this is something that I think we should be talking to our legislative delegation on, because this is a conundrum that everyone has.
Okay.
The regulations need to be
So they
changed.
change the use, but they don't sell it. For instance, he's leasing it, so it's a different business, but he's taking it out of 61, but they still have basically the same kind of ownership. So there's been no appraisal. So they're stuck.
We did do an appraisal on Nashua Street, but it was the Pleasant Street one. So Nashua Street, we did an appraisal on and decided that we were not going to move forward on negotiating with them. But Pleasant Street, we didn't have the opportunity. There was also an access issue so it can get complicated. So we've got the two owners on the Pleasant Street extension. When we lost the ability to appraise the front end, we didn't have any access to the backside. So we couldn't take action on that second one because the timing wasn't concurrent for those two. The letter indicating notice of intent to remove from Chapter 61 was determined to be inaccurate and insufficient for the back parcel, so it was on a different timeline. But we still couldn't take action on it in the end because we didn't have access to that parcel because we had lost the front parcel already.
Okay, so under your guidance, then you're saying that if there's a lot that's not a legal lot, it's bounded by everything, doesn't have access. That type of access you're talking about, it's not access on a street or access from any other public way, it's just a landlocked lot. You don't consider those, is that what I'm hearing? Because there's no... Your definition of open space might be different than mine.
Right, but this parcel, the value in it was for use, I think, not for preservation.
Right.
And it could have been something that could have been pursued, but there wasn't the will of the group that was working on it at the time. We thought that there's much more priority parcels in town, which we hope we will have an opportunity to take action.
Well, there's going to be a meeting tomorrow night by the planning board regarding the balance of the piece. The reason I'm digging into this, I happen to be in a butter, and you've seen me at a couple of meetings. And there's another project coming called Air Solar 2, which I thought in my mind was coming for months. And kind of figured it out just by doing the research. I've seen all the videos of your discussions before regarding Air Solar 1 with both the planning board and conservation and whatnot. So I was kind of disheartened by the whole process of letting that big chunk of woods go. I also discovered these pieces of property are in ACECs. You probably know that, you may not.
Pleasant Street and Nashville Street are not.
But I know the other one was, Solar One. So the next piece across the bike trail from Solar One, which comes up against the Madigan Drive residence, is coming up tomorrow night before the planning board. And had I not seen the advertisement, this is a big issue.
And it's in chapter 61?
That's what I'm trying to find out. See, it's the same parcel that's at the end of Pleasant Street that was parcel known as parcel 12-1. So a piece of that went with, I could be wrong, okay? 12-1, on all the research I've done, which has been kind of days of it, seems to have two chunks, one on either side of the power lines, from what you see on one map. But another piece, and it's been 1993, there's a zoning change or a plan that shows it differently. But anyway, the long and short of it is that tomorrow night the planning board has a meeting proposing to, they went to conservation for 2 lots, which are terrible lots, which are right next to me. And beyond that is the balance of the lots that came out of one piece of it that was connected to the Riley Jane subdivision. And it changed its name. The lot became a different parcel number through the subdivision of Riley Jane, which makes it even more confusing to do the research. But the long and short of it is that piece is going to be proposed to be Air Solar 2, and they're going to have their first hearing tomorrow night. Now, the paperwork for that hearing, they may not even open the hearing because the documents are not acceptable. But the point is that it's a small piece of land potentially sitting out there right on the rail trail. And it could be, it'd be a disaster. It'll never, I can't see this on the key. It looks like it's challenging, let's say, to make this work because of wetlands restrictions and a number of other things. But I was thinking in terms that if that has been removed from 61 as part of the first process, it does change the outlook for Air Solar 2. If it has not been removed or was separated.
Because they didn't do anything on the other side of the rail trail. If it's truly on the other side of the rail trail, they did not remove anything from 61 that's on the other side of the rail trail.
Okay, so then that lot that stands by itself now as it was subdivided under Riley Jane, which now is called, I think, parcel 439, according to what I saw an hour or two ago. It was a part of parcel 12-1. If it's still in 61A, throws a whole different twist on my research. That's what I'm trying to resolve.
I know.
I'm not, probably not belonging in this discussion, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. But, you know, again.
The reason I'm getting at it is this is a nice little parcel, which could be cheap enough to buy. That was kind of my intent of the whole discussion. That's what I'm getting at. And it abuts the rail trail, could become a nice little adjunct, like a place for people to stop off the rail trail. Could have all the elements that you need and solve a problem.
All right.
And if this one comes up for 61A, if you're correct, and it has not been removed from 61, this little piece would be affordable, I would think, because it's just unbuildable on anything.
All right, you say it's going to go to the planning board tomorrow.
Well, they're bringing it.
Okay.
Well, that's right, you're in the planning board.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, that's one thing about CPC.
Well, I can't speak to the planning board.
The different
Some
boards
documents.
here. And, you know, so Mark, if you can go ahead and, you know, find out a little bit more for the group here and such. And I know that you guys, you know, are looking at the, you know, the Chapter 61, you know, properties and such.
But we're not, that's not our, I think Brian was working on a map, but that's not been our focus because we're not technically involved in that yet.
And I've got to get in touch with Robert. I'll ping him and everything. So we'll see, you know, what else we might be able to do.
I haven't seen any documents on that.
Junk, you would be surprised.
Yeah.
Okay.
I shouldn't say that.
Yeah. All right.
Not being recorded anymore.
It's not.
Yes, we are.
I don't know. He was inside
He shut the
yeah.
thing.
So I don't know if he shut it off. But
The
no matter
green
what.
lights are on the.
Yeah. All right.
They
So
stopped it until-
So my
Thank you,
only
Ken.
input for
Once
tonight
we're
for you guys
recording.
was, I am interested in that At the
Conservation
town meeting,
fund?
I'm interested in the conservation piece, I'm interested in the part that you were talking about for due diligence, I think that number should be higher. That would be my input, because you'd like to have the money, it may not have to be higher, if you can just keep taking it from a general or something else, you know. But I
Well,
think-
yeah, the due diligence, one good thing about that is it's already put to the side. If we start taking, we have to go to town meeting to move things.
Right.
Okay, it's nice, that's why, this conservation fund idea, like I say, I'll touch base with Robert and see what we might be able to go and do so that there's something. And see if we can, start looking forward to doing something like that.
I think the conservation thing is something you really have to look at as the town goes forward, especially because we have a great piece of conservation that runs right through the town called the Rail Trail, owned by the Department of Conservation and Recreation under the Commonwealth. And I think either side of that piece of property should be closely watched
Okay,
for conservation.
all right. I can, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we really do appreciate that. All right, so what I'm gonna do is with regard to the warrants, I'm gonna make sure that everybody gets a copy, so that we can vote on them at our next meeting. Say, I've gone ahead and done that. Everybody have a chance to take a peek at the annual report? No?
Quick peek.
Okay. All right. Like I said, it's pretty much the same thing as last year. And the only other committee reports is Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec? Yes. The spring programs are starting up, getting underway. They're still talking about the community garden. Your dog park is starting to form. And 4th of July is going to happen.
Okay. Better?
Happens every year.
We'll be in trouble.
It happens in July.
Yeah, they even have it in England too.
Yeah, they have it in England.
Okay. I know you're reading that, Beth. I can send it to you tonight as well.
It looks fine to me.
Okay, like I say, the only thing I removed is, I'm asking Lisa to help me after the budget process and everything. So later on this summer, I want to know how much funds we've collected since 2001, how much funds we've dispersed since 2001. I think, in the projects, I think that would be good to go ahead and even, generate a little brochure to saying where your funds are going. I think we've talked about this so that, should we want to ask the town, for possibly.
Your CPC funds, how that work?
Your CPC funds hard at work.
Since 2001.
I don't think it was 2001 that was said yes. I think it's the
Are you
first
do you want to
paragraph.
include that in here?
I can't.
Oh, right.
I can't.
Okay.
Yeah, this I'm seeing in the summertime,
Yeah.
after budget and everything else like that. I think it would be nice to have so that people know where the CPC funds,
Right.
because again, it's out there.
So do you need us to vote to approve that?
I don't think so. We never did.
Okay.
Never did before. No. So is there anything from open space and rec? Planning?
No progress to report. So I thought, we haven't approved them in the past, do we?
Not for the
No.
town, not for the annual report.
We don't have. That's-
Yeah, because I'll
not
say it this way,
complicated.
just generated it and sent it, that was it. So this time around, I thought I'd get one step ahead of it and had it for tonight's meeting. Because usually what ends up happening is, because if we approved it, Barry would have caught his name being misspelled.
The future perspective projects discussion, since this is technically for 2016, I don't think we should say supporting. Like considering funding requests, right?
Okay. Like I say,
Right,
just use the
this is
word,
2016, right?
this is, we have.
Report for,
This is the 2016 annual report of what we funded in 2016 and what's going to look forward for 2017.
right, so CPC will be considering funding requests from,
As opposed to
supporting funding requests from, because even tonight, we didn't necessarily say so. We said we're advancing to town meeting, but the
Advancing town
motion
meeting.
wasn't even for support,
Okay.
which it could have been, probably should have been.
And maybe put for advancement to town meeting.
I mean, they're gonna be reading this at town
Funding
meeting,
request,
so.
yeah.
Yeah, so you can just bring it up.
Okay, I had to say, I'll send it to you, tomorrow, but depending on what time, yeah. All right. Okay, so nothing for open space, that's it for the committee reports. Our next meeting, April. Should have this on the top of my head, I don't.
Number 5.
April 5th. So, next meeting, April 5th at 6 o'clock. And can someone make a motion to?
Motion we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.